Bonjour Anisette, hello Year 7 and welcome to the next in the series of your lockdown learning lessons on Famille, my family. Today we're looking to revise the use of mon, ma and me, and ton, ta and te in particular. Learn how to give other people's names and ages and then putting these new skills into practice. So, last lesson we introduced the fact that the words for my and your, they change depending on whether the noun, the person, the place or the thing that you're talking about is masculine, feminine or plural. Now this is weird because it doesn't happen in English of course, but just to put that into context, in this box the word my is mon when the thing you're talking about is masculine. Now that's quite straightforward when it comes to family. The pair we know as the dad, therefore we use mon. Me, mother, female, ma. If it's plural, so more than one, signified by the letter S, my is then me. You did a little bit of work on this in lesson 2, and focusing on the use of the word my, so mon, ma or me. Today I'd like you to focus on your. So there's only one spelling difference, it's the fact that the M's change to T's. So instead of mon, ma, me, meaning my, we've got ton, ta, te. So, using this little part of the grid here, ton, ta and te, you need to fill in the gaps. Again, you did a very, very similar task, lesson 2, with mon, ma and me. Remember, all you had to do was look at the last word and decide, is this a male family member, a female family member, or is it plural? Now, the first 4 should be fairly straightforward. You might need a little bit of revision. You might need to look back at lessons 1 and 2 to be able to do numbers 5 and 6. Okay, so you fill those in and see how you do. I am now moving on. Alright, so, talking about brothers and sisters, we have a question here. Tu as des frères ou sœurs? I have put the phonetic spelling underneath because it's really important that we are able to pronounce words in French correctly. It's true that the French accent is one of the hardest things to get perfect. Your general rule is the last letter is silent. So instead of tu as des frères ou sœurs, we've got tu, a, des frères ou sœurs. Now that's asking, do you have any brothers or sisters? And we've got un frère, une sœur. Focus on the difference between the two. Un, une. Repeat it to yourself. Un, une. So, tu as des frères ou sœurs? Silent S's. Let's put that into practice. So, tu as des frères ou sœurs? We should know at this point how to say, I have a brother, I have a sister, and to include numbers if necessary. But what if you're an only child? Well, you could say this. Repeat after me. Je n'ai pas de frères et des sœurs. Je n'ai pas de frères et des sœurs. Say it 3 times. Je n'ai pas de frères et des sœurs. Obviously that means I do not have any brothers or sisters. Or I haven't got. Alternatively, you could say je suis fils unique. Or je suis fille unique. Have a little think about what they could mean. Repeat them to yourself. Je suis fils unique. Je suis fille unique. Now obviously these will not apply to everybody. It might only be a handful of people in the whole year group. But je suis fils unique would be I am an only child if you are a boy. Now it literally means I am the only son. But, you know, I'm an only child and you're a boy. Therefore, je suis fille unique. I am an only child who is a girl. It might be worth making a note of these somewhere where you're doing your work. One more time because practice makes perfect. Repeat after me. Je n'ai pas de frères et de sœurs. Je suis fils unique. Je suis fille unique. Okay, so we have a quick task for you here. Now the question is, tu as des frères ou sœurs? Take a look at the pictures on the side. Look at what they represent. Obviously a picture of a boy there represents a brother, a picture of a girl represents a sister, and all I want you to do is to write how you would say that in French. So for example, number 1. This picture wants you to say, I have a brother. And that should look a little bit like this. Picture number 2 wants you to say, I have a sister. And that should look a little bit like that. J'ai une sœur. Your task is now to fill in the rest. So how would you write down, I have 2 sisters, I have 3 brothers, I have 1 sister and 2 brothers, and finally, I do not have any siblings, or I don't have any brothers or sisters. It is on you now to write those down. At this point, it might be a good idea to pause the tape, because when I next press my button, you're going to see the answers. So you wouldn't want to have the answers given to you straight away. So here they are. I have 2 sisters, of course, looks like this. J'ai 2 sœurs. Not forgetting the S, because there's more than one. J'ai 3 frères. J'ai une sœur et, meaning and, 2 frères. And finally, je n'ai pas de frères et sœurs. You check your work with these answers. Moving on. Okay, so just to put this into context with famous people that we might know. Tu as des frères ou sœurs. What would Lisa Simpson say? Right, so je m'appelle Lisa Simpson. My name's Lisa Simpson. Her response would be... What? What do you think? Think to yourself, what would Lisa say? You know, she's obviously got 1 brother and 1 sister. How would she write that down? You need to write that on your worksheet, or type it on your worksheet. Answer come in now. J'ai un frère et une sœur. Next. Alex Rousseau. Now, it doesn't really matter who this person is. I can see that this is probably quite dated. But you can see from the pictures that she's got 2 brothers. Now, how would she say, I have 2 brothers? You write that down now. Think about the spelling. Think about the fact that it's 2 brothers. It should look like this. Compare your answer to this answer. J'ai 2 frères. Not forgetting the S because it's more than 1. Next. How about Bart then? If you are Bart Simpson, you've got 2 sisters, how would you write this in French? Write down your answer now. Okay, so you now need to compare your written answer with this. J'ai 2 sœurs. Adding an S because it's plural. Moving on. Next. Harry Potter. Now, it really does help if you know that, if you've seen the films. But if you haven't, Harry is an only child. So how might you write that in French? There's a number of different ways that you can do this. Mark yours against this one now. Je suis fils unique. Or, of course, je n'ai pas de frères et de sœurs. Next. Je m'appelle Bella Swan. Now, she's from Twilight, I believe. Now, she is also an only child. Now, there are 2 ways that you can write that she is an only child. Remember, she's a girl. Write one of your answers now. Now it should look a little bit like this. Either je suis fille unique, I am an only child who's a girl, or je n'ai pas de frères de sœurs. I don't have any siblings, any brothers or sisters. Phineas Flynn, from Phineas and Ferb fame. Now I believe this is his step-brother. Now if you can get this right, you're doing extremely well. You have seen the word for step-brother before in some of the previous lessons that we've put online. Write down your answer now. Okay, so it should look something like that. J'ai un demi-frère. Step or half brother. Apparently he's also got a sister, I'm led to believe. Okay, so here is a recap of what we've seen so far. The question and what it means and how it's pronounced. Obviously everybody's circumstances are different, so we've got all sorts of numbers of siblings here. How to say that you're an only child, and obviously you might have stepbrothers, half-brothers and half-sisters, you might have twins, who knows. All of that is there. You don't need to do anything with this slide right now, it's just for your knowledge and if you want to include it in the writing task which comes at the end. I know some of you in year 7 are part of a twin. So here we go, moving on. Okay, so giving your siblings names. So far we're able to say who we've got. Now it's all about their names. Right, so we'll use The Simpsons as ever because most of us are familiar. Now, Lisa Simpson. She is saying, J'ai un frère qui s'appelle Bart. And there's Bart. These are the key words right here. Qui s'appelle literally means who is called. Maggie would say, J'ai une sœur qui s'appelle Lisa. Still the same, not qui s'appelle, whether it's for a boy or for a girl. The only slight twist you get is here, when Bart says, J'ai deux sœurs, two sisters, qui s'appellent Lisa and Maggie, and there they are. Now you'll notice that there is a slight spelling change when you are talking about multiple siblings. You add an NT to the phrase qui s'appelle. You'll notice though as well that they don't sound any different, so it's not qui s'appellent, it's qui s'appelle. So j'ai un frère qui s'appelle, j'ai une sœur qui s'appelle, j'ai deux sœurs qui s'appellent. The spelling though is the important bit. This signifies that you're talking about multiple people. You might want to make a note of this somewhere ready for the main task. Okay, so we now need to combine that even further. Give your siblings names like we've done and their ages. So here we go. Using The Simpsons again. We have Lisa saying J'ai un frère qui s'appelle Bart. Il a 10 ans. Now this is a bit of a strange way of saying your age. You might remember this from when we were actually in school doing the age in class. Il is he. A actually means has. So they're technically saying, right, Bart, he has 10 years. Why? It's because they use the verb to have when they talk about age. They don't say he is 10 years old, it's he has 10 years. Strange, but we have to get used to it. Il a 10 ans. Maggie. J'ai une sœur qui s'appelle Lisa. Elle a 8 ans. She has 8 years. Very strange. And Bart then, j'ai deux sœurs qui s'appellent Lisa et Maggie. Elles ont 8 ans et 1 an. So this is they have 8 years and 1 year. Really weird way of giving the age. It's really strange. It takes a little while to get your head around. It's like you have 8 years of life so far. In a nutshell then, giving someone's age looks a little bit like this. Most of the time you'll talk about yourself. So j'ai 11 or 12 ans if you're in year 7. If you want to talk about your brother or your father or any male member of your family or a friend, il a, however many years old, ans. And you can see that in the example right here. LA. Put the number in the box, in the blank, on. She is however many years old. Being able to discuss other people's age is really important because it can get you higher levels, and that's why we're here. Some of you may have more than one sibling then, so you could do this. Ils ont, blank on. They are however many years old, and this is if it's a group of males. Okay, so you might have two brothers, ils ont, however old they are, or if it's males and females together. If you have multiple sisters, you're going to be using elles ont. This is a group of females. And you can use this slide and the slide before, where you give your names, to help you complete the main point of today's lesson, which is going to be all about answering this question in as much detail as you can. So all I want you to do is answer this question. Tu as des frères ou sœurs? Now we know that this means, do you have any brothers or sisters? I want you to give me as much detail as you possibly can. Now we've got a few sentence starters here because we understand that oftentimes with languages, starting is the most difficult point. So you could start, dans ma famille, j'ai. In my family, I have. And then list who's there. Aussi, j'ai. Also, I have. You've then got a bit of a word bank down below. Who's called, who are called, and an example sentence, j'ai une sœur qui s'appelle Hannah. I have a sister who is called Hannah. The more you can put into this little piece of writing, the better. Okay, because generally speaking, the detail is what gets you the marks. So, as ever, type this up on the worksheet, which you'll find on Moodle, upload it, you'll have to save it, upload it, and then your teacher will mark it and give you a grade. If there are any questions, please feel free to contact your classroom teacher, whether it's me, Mr. Cullerton, Mrs. Hillier, or Mrs. Sheehan. We are contactable on Teams and via email.